Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, four nerds by nerds, hanging out with.
Nerdarchy Ted.
And today we asked the question: are these paladins ruining the party? Jump down the description below where you can find Nerdarchy, the newsletter, game weekly tips, as well as learn how to game with Nerdarchy.
All right, so we got a viewer suggestion coming through the email. If you have a viewer suggestion, you can send those over to nerdarchy@gmail.com, and we'll gladly take a look at it. So this one came in from Anonymous, and he's having this problem where he started a new character in an ongoing game, and he was inspired by one of our videos that we did, and he wanted to play a paladin.
So what you're saying is Nerdarchy's fault?
No. Well, unfortunately, there was another paladin in the group, and he felt that it was, the other character playing the paladin feels like that guy's trying to step in on his toes.
Is outshining him or overshadowing him, and like his deal was I do the damage.
Right.
So, and here's the thing: like I say this all the time. People say, "What should I play?" I say, "Play what you want." I don't really care. As the GM, like I don't care about party composition, and unfortunately, it is kind of a problem if two characters are doing the same thing all the time and one is doing it better. I could see that. Like if that's what you want to focus on, it's kind of one-dimensional gameplay. Really, you're kind of just saying like that's all this game is. We're going to roll dice and fight things, and there's nothing more to it because you guys, they can do it differently. They can role play. They can try and do different things in combat. They don't have to do the same thing. And also, it was like kind of mentioned that the party was interested in having more damage being dealt from a non-caster.
Right. So here is there's a couple different nuances to this situation, or to just in general. Number one, if you're talking about a paladin being an issue, a paladin has the ability to be a face character, a damage dealer, a healer. They can cover a lot of ground by being a paladin. I will never say, oh, this party's got too many paladins. Never going to happen. Because, all right, if you wind up saying, oh, well, everybody is dealing too much damage, well, then we either really mow through combat and the DM needs to seriously ramp up the challenge of the monsters that you're going to face, or put out more encounters so that they're going to run out of smites and not have anything healing to do short of hit dice. So that's the DM balance, and that's on them. Now, in the actual crux of that player's doing what I'm doing, we've been gaming together for over 20 years, and we've had many times where somebody makes a character decision based on what they think the party needs, and there's been times where it's been thrown completely to the wind, and players just come to the table, and everybody is what they want to be. And, oh, well, we don't have a rogue. We don't have a cleric. Well, we'll just go forward and see what happens. And again, if you have a DM who's willing to work with that kind of stuff, you can have a grand and exciting game, and you just have to find a way to deal with that thing that you're missing.
I kind of like have this issue in your game, right? Like, I play a dwarf fighter wizard, right? I don't wizard as good as the wizard, and I don't fight as good as the fighter. But I can assist. I assist either really well.
All right. Now, do you feel in any way, shape, or form that someone overshadows your character?
No, not at all. Like I do my part on the battlefield, right? Whether I need to do more crowd control for the party, I do that. Or maybe it's a monster that's really hard to hit, and I go, oh, well, I have spells where I don't have to roll dice to see if I hit. I can auto hit, or I can enhance myself and go in and fight. I still don't do as much damage as the fighter or the paladin, but I'm there. I'm soaking up attacks. I frustrate the DM because I'm hard to hit. And,
and then just shield.
Yeah, like I'm not super effective as the fighter role. If you say, hey, you need someone to do damage, or as the wizard role where you want someone to do a lot of crowd control or a really strong, powerful spells. Heck, even the bard outperforms me when it comes to spell casting. so like I don't care, but I have fun playing this character, and you have to figure out where's the fun in playing that character. Why did you make that character in the first place? Like I said, it's very one-dimensional if this game to you is just fighting monsters.
And there are some groups out there, and that's what they want. They want dungeon crawls. They want to go fight the monster, pick up the loot, move on to the next encounter. And if that's your cup of tea, if that's your bag, baby, go for it. I'm not going to stop you. That's not me. If you look at, your game, I'm playing a cleric. I am most of the time, I don't want to say useless in combat, but I am the least useful in combat, short of, okay, well, I'll occasionally throw out some damage, I'll occasionally throw out a heal. Even though I'm a cleric, my character is more the knowledge skill monkey in the game, in the group, and that's what I'm there for. Realistically, I want to role play. I want to go and have conversations with weird things. I want to go into places and learn these forbidden secrets, and that's my draw with this particular character. So that's what I do. When we get into combat, I usually get my ass kicked. So, oh well, we pick up the pieces and move on.
Now, I've seen in another game, and you actually played in this game briefly, where they did dual paladins, and like they like tried to develop a fighting style together.
Yeah.
And the GM let them, and they did some weird thing, but whatever. So like, you just have to find the fun in it. And like Ted said, like if the GM starts ramping up the monsters and their hit points, then you're going to need that extra paladin because you're going to need to do the extra damage. And, being an effective paladin generally means you're in melee, you're up front. So you can play whack-a-mole with those paladins all day long as the GM. Yeah, eventually one of them is going to give, right? In Ted's game, again, like Kyle, Nerdarchy, or not Nerdarchy, Kyle, he calls himself Intern Kyle. Up jumped Intern Kyle. He plays a warlock paladin and can do a ton of damage, but he's always on the ground because he's up front and he's near everything. And where, like, if we don't have the other fighter there for that session because he doesn't show up pretty often, my character will either be in the front or not be in the front. Like, he doesn't really like that. That's one of the strengths of that character. I can fight from the back, or I can get up in front of the monster. It doesn't really matter. And then sometimes Ted ignores him just because he doesn't feel like trying to hit him.
Well, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to roll an attack on Dave. I got a 10% chance that I'll actually land an attack, because even if I roll well, there might come a shield that makes it, that much harder. What can you get up to, a 29 these days?
Something like that. 27, 29.
It's pretty crazy. And
with haste is the 29, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, all right, well, when Dave pulls out all the stops, like, I can't be having monsters all the time that have plus 15 to hit. And even at a 15,
you miss.
I can miss 3/4 of the time.
And if I cast, like, my mirror image.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So.
Oh, wait a minute. There's also, I've newly discovered Blink. So we're going to have a lot of fun in Ted's game.
So, like, I just basically have to revert to saving throws and area of effect to actually injure this guy. And, like, it's, for me as the DM, I look at that as a situation where a lot of times the adversaries are aware of who these guys are, so they can make these logical decisions. They know what's going on, so it's not just like, oh, well, I'm the DM and I'm metagaming. No, these are intelligent adversaries. If it's a random encounter, well, then I gotta go with what that thing would do. Oh, here's this little dwarf in front of me. Oh, of course I didn't hit him. Oh, well, it was a wasted attack. But whatever. But in your group, in your situation, it is very easy to say, all right, what is the niche of this character, and go ahead and do it. Whenever we have player 911s, GM 911s, we always start off saying, have a conversation. So if you are a player and you feel another player at the table has made a new character or is stepping on your toes, have a conversation and hash things out with words. Let it be decided. Perhaps he wasn't aware that you were trying to hone in on this, thing, and this other character is doing it better because they mechanicked it better or whatever have you. Or maybe, you guys could totally do what Scott and Mike did in the game that I played briefly, where you guys work together and you can develop your own fighting style. And these two paladins in that game, whoever rolled higher on initiative, he would always hold until the other guy's initiative. So that was always a loss for one of the players, and they would work together, and they would always work to be on either side of a monster and they would get a flank bonus. Now, you can run whatever you want in your game. I think the DM wound up giving them advantage by doing this, and that can be incredibly powerful. Third edition might say, "Oh, well, it's just a +2," but we don't have standard pluses like that anymore. So you can work out whatever you want to do, but there is no need to say, "Well, you're doing my shtick," unless like it's a very niche thing, and two people doing it in a group aren't all that useful. If you're in a game where it's about dealing damage and the party as a whole thinks we need to up the overall damage being done, then by all means bring the other character in that can swing some nasty damage and take the monsters out that much faster.
And then the other thing too is hopefully like there's role playing that's happening differently in different certain areas that way. Like a fallen Azamar, like to me that's a dark, grim, brooding character. And that's gonna come across. There actually might even be like there might be people that hunt that character. I could definitely see organizations that don't approve. Other Celestials might not approve.
Well, I had two paladins in my game last night, and one was a half orc paladin of vengeance. The other one was a human paladin of devotion, and they both had a lot of fun in the game. They both felt that they got to do some damage. There was time when it's like, all right, that guy was getting the kill, and sometimes this guy was getting the kill. So it was enjoyable. No one felt like, oh, well, this guy made.
You know what it really comes down to? Just mind your own fucking character. Like, literally, like, stay out of the other players' characters in the game. Play your character. Have your fun. Like, generally in life, if you just mind your own fucking business, things are much easier and just go smoother. And that's what it comes down to. So what? This other character does a lot of damage or can do something that you do. Big deal. That's one part of the game. There should be a ton more to the game that doesn't even rely on dice rolling at all.
Now I want to get a table full of paladins and see what happens.
So yeah, like that's another thing. Like the all dwarf game, or the all fighter game, or the all rogue game. Like these are concepts and tropes that people do, and they do it for fun. So why don't you find the fun if you have two wizards at the table, or you have two clerics at the table? So what? The party is going to be really good at this one area. It's not a big deal.
And like I said earlier, like of all the classes, like Paladin is the one that you should be the least complaining about having extras of.
Yeah, paladins and bards are really diverse. So you can play them in different ways. And I guess the other thing is, well, are they the same archetypes? Do they have same backgrounds? Clearly it sounds like they're probably not the same race. So there's definitely differences. Well, for the player that actually sent the suggestion, why don't you try and like, if you care and if it matters to you, and it does because you sent an email in, try to really focus on the differences between your characters and try and really emphasize them during the game. That is something you can do, and maybe that'll bring your friend around. And I believe he had a conversation, and that's how he knows that what the problem is. So that part's kind of already happened. And so now you can lead by example and be like, well, this is how my character is different, and constantly try and reinforce that during gameplay. That would be my suggestion. And then after that, there's nothing you can do. How other people think, how other people feel, that's on them. That's not on you.
So do you guys have any suggestions for our anonymous player? You can put those down in the comments below. While you're down there, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
You can check us out over on Facebook.
So until next time, stay nerdy. He wanted to play a paladin.
So what you're saying is Nerdarchy's fault?
No. Well, unfortunately, there was another paladin in the group, and he felt that it was, the other character playing the paladin feels like that guy's trying to step in on his toes.
Is outshining him or overshadowing him, and like his deal was, I do the damage.
Right.
So, and here's the thing, like I say this all the time. People say, what should I play? I say, play what you want. I don't really care. As the GM, like I don't care about party composition, and unfortunately, it is kind of a problem if two characters are doing the same thing all the time and one is doing it better. I could see that. Like, if that's what you want to focus on, it's kind of one-dimensional game.
If you have a viewer suggestion, you can send those over to nerdarchy@gmail.com, and we'll gladly take a look at it. So this one came in from Anonymous, and he's having this problem where he started a new character in an ongoing game, and he was inspired by one of our videos that we did, and
Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, 4 Nerds by Nerds, hanging out with.
Nerdarchy's Ted.
And today we asked the question, are these paladins ruining the party? Jump down the description below where you can find Nerdarchy, the newsletter, game weekly tips, as well as learn how to game on Nerdarchy.
All right, so we got a viewer suggestion coming through the email.
Play, really, you're kind of just saying, like, that's all this game is. We're going to roll dice and fight things. And there's nothing more to it, because you guys, they can do it differently. They can role play. They can try and do different things in combat. They don't have to do the same thing. And also, it was like kind of mentioned that the party was interested in having more damage being dealt